What is up, ladies and gentlemen? You're watching another Madman Film Breakdown right here on the Madman Sports Network. Today we're talking about Dallas Goedert. It was a fan request. Shout out to Johnny Talks Sports. Check him out on YouTube, by the way, if you get a chance. Just another guy trying to make a name there, but that's all that. Again, speaking of that, if you guys have a player that you want me to do a film breakdown on specifically, feel free to leave it in the comments section, and I'll be glad to add them to my list. That's kind of what I want to do, especially as we get closer to draft season. I'm out here to, please the fans. That's my main goal. So today, talking about Dallas Goedert, one of the top ranked tight end prospects really in this draft class, and I wasn't super high on him. I'm probably not as high on him as everybody, but he definitely does have some very nice traits, and we're going to talk about some of them. The first one is because he's got such long arms, he has a really good catch radius, whereas the ball, even if it's not thrown accurately, he's able to adjust his body, adjust his reach, and make tough catches when he's overthrown or when the ball isn't really placed where it should be. So you're going to see on this first one right here, the ball's going to be overthrown. He's going to do a really good job of extending his body to make the catch. So there, just keep an eye on him. He's right there. Ball is thrown. And again, notice that has to extend, leap up, and then you see here the contact's gummy. He manages to absorb it well and drag the defender forward for a few extra yards. So let's take a look at that one more time. Ball is thrown again, just does a nice job of extending upwards, getting back down, and we'll talk about kind of his power as well, his pure athleticism, his power and his speed later. So you see that he's able to kind of obtain the ball and continue to go. Now here's another one right here. Ball is snapped. Has a good release off the line of scrimmage as well, with just something worth noting. Wasn't going to do like a whole section on it, but you'll kind of notice it as you see him run some of these routes. You'll see the ball is thrown really low. Watch the way he lowers his body, manages to reach out and get the ball, save it from touching the ground, and again, manages to avoid that defender and pick up a few extra yards just with his nice power ability again. But what I really notice here again is the way he's able to reach downwards and catch that ball. Really impressive catch, and even more impressive that he's able to just get back up, kind of retain his control so quickly and leap forward for a few extra yards. So here's another one right here. Ball is thrown. Notice the way he kind of has to adjust his body here. Take a look right here. The way he's kind of running, probably was expecting it to be more thrown, closer to the middle of the field, and instead he reaches back, manages to make that catch, and again is unfazed by the contact that comes as well. That's just really good control right there, really good concentration, able to see where the ball is, and, again, adjust his body to make the catch. Here's another one against TCU again. Ball is snapped. You're going to see here he's running this route right here. The way, again, the ball is quickly, not really thrown where it should be, a little underthrown, kind of thrown behind him. The way he catches it and just gets back to full speed right away, doesn't slow down, doesn't let him, doesn't use it as an excuse to kind of slow down. Instead, just catches the ball, quickly gets back on his feet, gets right towards the end zone, manages to get in there. I was really impressed, again, with him being able to turn around and make a catch, but also how quickly he's able to just get back to going full speed towards the end zone. One more time here. Again, ball's thrown behind him. He turns right around, gets in the end zone. Number 2 didn't have a shot at stopping him. And then here's one more right here. This one's real nice. Ball's thrown. Little one-handed grab as he runs right into the end zone. Again, just nice job. Bats it up a little bit, brings it right in. Good concentration. That one's a pretty good throw, actually, but he manages to get it. Isn't, again, bothered by this defender at all, and he gets in there. So this is a guy who's able to make some really nice, impressive catches, and again, it's partially just because his arms are so long. Obviously has some pretty big hands as well, and he's able to has good concentration and understanding of exactly when to make his move and make catches, again, even if they're not very accurate throws. So another thing that I really like about Goedert is that he has such a nice combination of speed and just power, and it makes him a really dangerous threat once the ball is in his hands. He's the type of player where, in the NFL especially, you get him on those short routes, get him in the open field, and he'll be able to make things happen because he's so tough to bring down, and again, he's surprisingly fast for how big he is. He's 6'4", 260, and yet he's able to run pretty fast. Don't remember exactly what his 40-yard was. Honestly, I'm not super concerned with how fast guys can run in their shorts. I'm more concerned with how they do on the football field with other players chasing after them. So here's a few examples right here. This first one, you're going to notice him make a catch. There he is right there. Keep an eye on him. Notice how he makes the catch here, bounces off the one defender, stiff arm another defender right here, and even as the third one comes in, he manages to fall forward and gain a few extra yards. Let's take a look at that one more time. Catches it, one defender down, two defenders down, boom, falls forward for those extra 2-3 yards. Always getting that forward momentum going because, again, he's just such a tank. One more time. Number 2, again, didn't even have a chance. Poor number 2, 2 different plays already where we've just seen him get abused by Goedert. I think TCU had the final laugh, but still. Here's another one right here. Ball is thrown. This time they kind of set him up with a nice screen here. Has a lot of blockers. And just look at the nice quickness, speed, ability to get forward. And again, even as he's tackled right there, he falls forward, gains an extra, what looks like an extra 4 yards just because he's able to maintain his balance for a little longer. And then even when he falls over, he kind of knocks that other defender down. So again, just good speed in the open field. Managed to get that up to his top speed pretty quickly and falls forward to gain some extra yards. This one, you're not going to see the open field ability as much, but it's just a nice catch where he's absorbing contact well. Keep an eye on him. He's right here. Notice number 2, I think again, or some defender right there is coming in, catches the ball, gets hit, does not let that, make him lose control of the ball or anything like that. He catches it, he absorbs the contact, and he just goes down. He's going to be able to make those catches even as he's getting hit, even as he's getting tackled. He doesn't let contact phase him once he gets his hands on the ball. Now this last one here, I'm not really sure what to categorize it as. It was just one of the coolest plays I've seen ever, like watching any of these prospects since I've started doing this season. And I guess you do have to be a pretty tough guy to be able to run this play. So you're going to see, here's Goedert right here, and here's the quarterback. Ball is snapped, they hand it off to him, and then he runs in there, and then he tosses it back to the quarterback. So A, really cool play design. I don't think I've ever seen much anything like that. B, it shows how Goedert's just kind of a versatile player. You can use him in different situations. They didn't really know what to expect there. And C, if he wasn't tough, if he didn't have that toughness and that strength, he probably wouldn't have been able to go into this big circle and maybe even get this ball off so cleanly while he was getting abused there. But again, I more wanted to show that just because it was a really cool looking play. Not as much to show off how impressive Goedert is. But hopefully you got an idea of just what a powerful force he can be when the ball is in his hands. He's a dangerous open field player. So why do I not think that he's a first-round prospect just from watching some of these physical traits? He's obviously a physical beast. Well, there's a few reasons, and one is that I'm extra harsh when I'm judging players who are going up against, lesser competition, FCS competition, which is why I tried to find some film on him playing against TCU. I'm glad I found some and then playing against, FBS opponents, but in general, he racked up most of his yardage against lesser competition. That's just a fact, so I have to be a little stingier when looking at that. And then there's 2 other things, and the first one is route running. He's not a very refined or crisp route runner, and I'm just going to show you a few examples right here. This first one was one of the first plays I saw, actually. You'll see him right there. Keep an eye on him. Notice the way he kind of just runs right in. He doesn't have really the quickness, doesn't really have any sort of deception or anything. Kind of just runs right into this defender, and then he kind of uses his hand to create a little separation, but it was pretty illegal at that point. And then he kind of hesitates, slows down, then speeds back up. Horrible throw as well, so that's really just kind of a bad play by both players. But again, nothing really there shows me anything impressive when it comes to, aside from like his speed and his break off the line of scrimmage. He really doesn't have any actual route running moves. A lot of him being open was just a result of him having good athleticism and just purely speeding by a lot of defensive backs or finding holes in zone coverages. He wasn't really good at creating separation one-on-one against defenders. And at the NFL level, that's going to be a lot more difficult. I'm actually going to skip this one because this one I kind of don't think is very useful. So here's another one right here, and this is kind of important as well, especially if he's getting jammed. You'll see him go one-on-one right here. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Goedert and what happens here. Notice he just kind of gets leveled by that defensive. I don't know if that's a linebacker or a safety, but either way, they're not very big. Goedert clearly has a size advantage on him, and again, it's a North Dakota State player, so it's not exactly like it's a future NFL prospect. He's going to be going up against much bigger, more physical players at the NFL level, and he managed to just get leveled and thrown on the ground and gets completely taken out of the play. Now again, was that probably illegal too by the defender? Maybe. Yes, no, probably because it was beyond 5 yards, 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, but it doesn't change the fact that Goedert was just taken down physically by somebody a lot smaller than him, and we're going to talk about that with his blocking as well. This is another one right here. This is more just a kind of a unlucky play, but still, you got to be better than this. You can't be making mistakes like this at the NFL level. Notice the way he just stumbles, falls over, isn't able to get the ball. He managed to actually create, get a little bit of separation, and the ball was actually thrown pretty well, and he has the speed to break away from this defender, and you can't just blow opportunities like that, especially when you're not going to get nearly as many opportunities again when you're going up against NFL defenses. So, again, being a little nitpicky, it's not as bad as maybe I'm making it out to be, and I know 2 of them weren't really even bad routes, because it's kind of hard to find them. If they're not open, they didn't really include the play. But those are just a few examples of plays I noticed where he didn't look as refined as you'd hope maybe a first or second round prospect. So another thing to talk about now is blocking, because that's half of a tight end's job really, is to be a good blocker. That's what makes, as much as Gronk is amazing because of his just physical weakness, he's also a phenomenal blocking tight end. That's what makes guys like that so useful on the field, is that you can use him as a sixth lineman. And Goedert is not, for somebody as big and powerful as him, he has some times where he was kind of not nearly as impressive. Now, he's not a terrible blocker, and I do not think this is going to be a huge issue at the NFL level, because I think that when when the right coaching staff gets their hands on him, he'll be able to refine his technique more and find ways to leverage his strength better. But that doesn't change the fact that these were things I noticed on film that I had to point out. So here's a few examples. Notice him right here lined up against a much smaller corner, and again, keep in mind, this is not an Alabama cornerback. This is not an Ohio State cornerback. This is not a SEC or Big 12, even Big 12 cornerback. This is a North Dakota State FCS cornerback. And watch the way he gets his hands on him, and he's kind of just going back and forth. He's driving him back well, but then he kind of lets go to go after this other player right here, this other defensive back, and 23 is still upright, and then 23 managed to make the tackle. Now, I know maybe I'm being a little nitpicky, but again, this is the difference between a first-round tight end prospect and maybe a slightly later-round prospect. You are twice the size of this guy. Throw him to the ground and take him out of the play. You should be able to completely take him out of the play as a man who has that much weight and that much size on him. And instead, that player manages to stay back up, and Goedert ends up giving up on both players, and he ends up making the tackle. Here's another one right here. Same player, looks like, and again, he gets his hands on him, and he manages to kind of just break himself away. Now, the play ends up being over here. He should not be upright still. Goedert should be able to just drive him out of bounds, out of the play. You are so much bigger, so much stronger than that cornerback. And the fact that he kind of just kind of throws him off lightly and then just kind of gets there, and then another player comes in to help out. I just expect more out of somebody that's so big and strong. That's the thing. If Goedert was smaller, it'd be fine. If he was a smaller receiver or whatever. Or again, if he was even going up against some really highly touted NFL prospects at cornerback, that would be different. But these are FCS corners, and Goedert should just be able to manhandle them with his size and strength. And here's another one right here. This is going to be a clearly a running play, and keep an eye on Goedert, and just notice he never gets his hands on anybody, which either is bad awareness, bad coaching, maybe the play design was to make it seem like he was running a route, but that seems a little pointless to me. Physically impose your will and get your hands on somebody, and instead, no, he doesn't, and ends up being a pretty bad play anyway. So again, I don't know if I'm blaming Goedert for this one, because I saw a few other examples of this where it was a running play and Goedert just went out and ran a route instead. I don't know if that's part of the deception to make players think that it's not a running play, but either way, just get your hands on somebody. Impose your will. Him running this route did not deceive anybody. In the end, they came in pretty quickly and they went after this quarterback, and the quarterback got taken anyway. I don't know. For me personally, if it's a running play and you're a tight end and you're lined up inside, you should be getting your hands on somebody and blocking someone if you can. So, a little bit picky. I understand that, but I figured those were things that had to be pointed out. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I've got a third-round grade on Goedert. I think he's a very raw prospect. I like him more than I liked Adam Shaheen last year, and I feel like I'm hearing kind of similar hype surrounding both of them. This is a pretty weak tight end class, so I think Goedert's going to go higher than he should. I don't think Goedert is nearly the prospect that O.J. Howard or, David Njoku were last year. Those guys were just so much more refined and dominant in tougher conferences. Still, though, he's got a nice combination of speed and power, and I do believe that with the right coaching staff, again, refining his technique, he can end up being a very, very good tight end at the NFL level. A starting caliber tight end, a top 15, possibly even top 10 guy if he reaches his peak. But again, for me, that's kind of how I am. I think there are too many players that are NFL ready that you can't pass on, but he is the perfect example of a project player that is absolutely worth taking a flyer on in the third round of beating. Thanks again, guys. Follow me on Twitter at BSUL21. Follow us at The Madman Sports, and hit that big red subscribe button. And again, let me know if there's any other prospects you want me to cover if I haven't already. I'll try and keep that in mind while still making sure I get some of my favorite guys, and we'll see you next time.